I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate, your roof has been leaking. You need a new roof, but you don't want to pay for one. I'm going to tell you how to get a new roof and go to the 21st century with solar. Nothing out of pocket. It's all just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate. If you've been threatened by the IRS, you're not helpless. I'm attorney Justin Clark. You have the power to fight wage garnishments and to fight levies on your account. Call me now for a free consultation or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your life.
This is a special offer from IQ Power Solar.
Stop paying high electric bills with a solar power system from IQ Power Solar. And now it's never been easier. IQ Power Solar can give you immediate electric bill relief right now when you go solar. IQ Power Solar will reimburse you for your very next electric bill. Plus, if you're a first responder, IQ Power Solar will pay your program payment for the rest of the year. Call 407-585-1018 now or visit iqpowersolar.com.
And welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, but with my attorney advice throughout the way. Any questions whatsoever, I have people standing by to answer them right now. Or if you want to start your house hunt this weekend, Dallas Lehman with You Have Mortgages standing by to get you pre-qualified right now. All you have to do is call the phone number on the screen, 407-205-0400. It's a great show for you this Saturday. You will not want to miss a single minute. But first, the opening statement. Look, I know being a homeowner, the roof is one of the most expensive things you can possibly replace on your home. But then the question always comes up. It's really a simple question. How do I replace it? And how do I replace it without having to pay for it? Yet, you don't want to commit insurance fraud, of course, but you don't want to stroke a check either. Where is this happy balance? And how do you figure out if that insurance company is supposed to replace your roof for you? You've been paying that premium all these years. You've never called in the claim. Right? I mean, that's what it is there for, is if something damages the roof, to pay to replace it. We're going to talk today about how you can get your roof replaced legally without committing insurance fraud, but also without having to pay for it. Also, if you do get the roof replaced, there is one thing that you really need to consider as soon as you get that done. And that is getting into 2021 by going solar. Stop being reliant upon these big, huge electricity companies that don't care about you. You don't pay them 1 month, they're going to shut your power off. It is time to be self-sufficient when it comes to energy. It is time to stop paying $500 a month for your electricity bill. It is time to go solar. You will not want to miss a single second of that, because we're going to answer those questions by asking real questions. Every Saturday here on You Have Real Estate, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. Today on the program, very happy to welcome for the first time Greg and Jill Bonner. Hey guys, how are you?
Hi, good.
Good. So you own a company called Virtual Public Adjusters, right?
Yes, sir.
I see it on the shirt. People are very confused at times. They don't know. They know that they call their insurance company, they have an auto accident, they assign an adjuster to it. But you're a public adjuster. What in the world does that mean?
A public adjuster means that I represent you, the insured, against the insurance company. So when they start arguing the points of the policy and the claim, that's what we help you identify as how the policy is going to help you out there.
So you come to my house, I stroke you a big fat check, you get to work. Is that how it works?
That's not how it works whatsoever. We go to work in trying to get your insurance company to pay for the damages that occurred to your building and occurred to your roof. The state got hit by a hurricane 4 years ago that covered every square inch of the state. So there's a very good chance that your building or your home got hit by a hurricane or a hail.
But it's impossible for me, because the storm came through a year ago, so it's impossible for me to go back now and say that it was struck during that storm, because we don't have any historical information. We don't know when that storm came through, right?
Well, you do. There's the National Weather Service has all of the history of the storms that came through, and they can identify right by your zip code and your street address exactly what happened to your home. But the insurance companies are definitely not going to provide that information for you. You need to have somebody that can dig it up.
So I can really go to a website, or I can call you and you can figure out, hey, you did have hail in your neighborhood or on your street. How close does it really zone in? Like, how do I know where that hail came?
They identify it from the National Weather Service down to the house. You can put your house in and you can see a line that will run right down the edge of where the storm was.
Is that right?
That's amazing.
That close.
Because, I mean, I imagine, let's just be honest here. The roof is super expensive. No one wants to pay to replace their roof. They don't. What does a roof cost these days?
Standard residential roof's probably going to cost you about $20-something thousand. And that's just shingles and a 30-year shingle on a relatively small house. You could get into a tile roof in on a regular size house, and it'd be $70,000, $80,000.
Wow. Yeah. And so obviously we're paying the insurance premium every month, and we've been paying it for years. Then all of a sudden we see a leak in our roof. We see a leak that's actually coming inside our kitchen. What do we do at that point?
You would call the insurance company, or either call your public adjuster and have them call the insurance company for you to identify where the source of that leak was. A lot of times, roofs don't actually leak on the inside. They'll leak underneath the roof system and damage all kinds of things in your attic that you won't even know about. So having somebody do an inspection on it would help a lot.
So it's one thing, Joe, let me bring you in for a second too. So at my law firm, we do some auto accident type stuff. It's one thing if you get rear-ended, right, and you don't go to the hospital for a year and a half. They're like, come on, you didn't feel any pain for a year and a half. It's one thing for you not to feel pain for a couple of days, but a year and a half, that's ridiculous. However, when it comes to your roof, you might not notice anything for a year, or you might not notice anything for a year and a half until you get someone up there on the roof to see what's really going on. Isn't that right?
Well, we live in Florida.
Yeah.
It rains and hails and thunderstorms and hurricanes here all the time. So it's not going to immediately always show. It takes over time. And then we do the research and we find the storm that affected your house.
Right.
Or your roof.
So it could take then, Greg, some time before I notice that I actually have a problem with my roof.
Absolutely. Every time that something happens to your roof, unless it's just catastrophic and punches a hole through it, it's going to take cycling of expansion and contraction in this Florida sun. It'll materialize all of those little imperfections in your roof. It'll materialize them over a year or so.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to me as a homeowner that you start to see little weird things, whether it's a little stain or some, maybe you see a little bit of a leak. Something happens where something might be going on. And I know for a fact, look, let's be honest with each other. We don't want to pay for this new roof. We don't. We want the insurance company to pay for it, but we don't want to commit insurance fraud either. So we got to figure out how we can do this the right way. Isn't that really the goal here?
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, we want a new roof, but we don't want to pay for it. And that's what we're talking about today. Who do I call first? Do I call you first, or do I call my own insurance company first?
I would call virtual public adjusters first. And the fact that me and Jill bring to the game a person with great policy knowledge like Jill does, and then my construction knowledge, that team put together is what you want calling the insurance company.
What do you do? I mean, do you get a ladder, you go up on my roof, see what's going on? How do you determine what's really going on there?
I used to say that we get up on the roof, but nowadays you send a drone up there and it has better eyesight. I mean, it's 4K resolution.
That's why we're virtual public adjusters.
You can do everything to do with your insurance claim now virtually. That's why we named the company Virtual Public Adjusters. I can send a drone up onto your roof. I can identify it better than anybody walking on your
Hairline
roof.
fractures.
Is that right?
I mean, down to nothing. And
did you buy him a drone one day and he just wanted to play with it? And
I think we're on the third one. I think we're on the third one. He keeps wrecking them into trees sometimes, but
yeah, these tile roofs are expensive. I know that for a fact. In fact, I was playing golf one day and I have that slice or whatever, and it hit off dude's house, which is not unusual at all. And the guy came running out, yelling at me, you broke my tile roof. These tile roofs are supposed to last for a long time, but I think when things hit them or hail comes, it can damage these tile roofs, can't it?
Crack them, and then the tile just slides right down the roof, and it exposes the real roof underneath the tile, what keeps your house dry. So even when you crack that guy's tile with your golf ball, allegedly cracked his tile with the golf ball, it exposed the roof underneath it. Yeah. The only thing that the tile were doing was keeping the roof from being exposed to the sunshine. So this thing will ultimately leak, and the sun will burn a hole through it. That's what the tile were for.
Now, my adjuster called me. I called the insurance company, and they said, we're not covering it. This is wear and tear. This happened over time. This wasn't one event. I should just shut up and stroke a check, or should I fight back?
I would definitely fight back. I mean, if I owned an insurance company, I'd see if you bought the, hey, no, we're not going to cover it anyway. Yeah. They'll send out a box of letterheads just to do that. But we fight them day in and day out, and they typically will deny a claim.
Let me give you a little piece of advice here. As a lawyer, we fight with insurance companies all the time, but I mean, I also own an insurance company. I understand this game. So insurance companies, what they do, they take your premiums, right? For years, months, whatever it is, they take your money, they build big buildings for themselves, they try to invest it, whatever they do with your money, and then when it comes time that a claim is made, they want to pay as little as they can. That is their business. They're going to tell you otherwise. They're going to say, well, we're highly regulated, where we pay when we should. Their job is to pay as little as they can. That insurance adjuster does not work for you. That insurance adjuster works for that big, bad insurance company. And that's why when they tell you they're not covering it, that does not always mean that they're right. And that is why public adjusters like Greg and Jill are here to help you through that. Now, a big part of what they do, and again, you're not paying these guys up front. You're going to pay them at the end, assuming that they recover the money or whatever. But a big part of what they do is use their construction knowledge to now talk to this adjuster that's coming to your house. Because what do you know about roofing, or what do you know about construction? Probably maybe enough to get you in trouble, but not as much as these guys. They're going to go and have a real conversation with this insurance adjuster that represents this insurance company about why this claim should be covered. Now, if you just want to go stroke a check for $30,000 to replace your roof, that's fine, I guess, if that's what you want to do. But I think it's worth your time, which is all you're going to give up, to have someone like Greg and Jill come in and tell you whether or not this claim should be covered or not. Repair versus replace, though. Where's the line here? When do I know I should just repair the roof versus replace the roof?
Well, when you try to repair a roof in the state of Florida, it's just not going to last long. It's already been torn up, so trying to patch it back is like trying to patch the motor back on your car. That's what you've got. When you install a new roof, you've got a new roofing warranty. But when we research your roof, we're going to tell you all the things that it's going to take to bring it up to the current code, which is different than last year. And I mean, now the roofs have to go to 135 miles an hour. And for us to pull those things out of the construction techniques and apply them to your insurance under a specific clause of law and ordinance, because they will pay for those code upgrades. But it's a separate clause, and you have to be smart enough to navigate through the insurance policy. That's what Jill does best, navigate through it.
And I think that's good, because these insurance policies are sort of like Japanese, if you don't really work in this space generally. How do I know what is covered? I mean, if my roof is leaking, I have water running into my house, how do I know what's covered, what's not covered?
By looking at your declarations page in your insurance policy. That's the first thing you should look at. Because I just got a policy on my desk. It's 500 pages that I have to go read.
Yeah.
And then I can tell you exactly what it does and doesn't. Because what insurance policies do is they give it to you in one section, they take it from you in another section, then they give it to you in another section, and they take it. So you're reading it thinking you have it, and you read it further and think you don't, and you get confused as a homeowner or a home buyer. So you have to have someone who knows what they're reading read it.
And it's not just roofs. I mean, roofs, I guess, are generally the biggest ticket item that we deal with as homeowners. But what else do you get involved with as far as insurance claims go?
Anything where you damage your property. Sudden and accidental loss to a property is going to be anything that's covered. Fires, those are pretty self-explanatory. You don't get a lot of argument from the insurance companies. But when you're trying to get a roof that looks like it's no damage done to it, and you have to prove that underlying those damages do exist, that's really hard to do.
You know, if you have any issues with your home and you're covered by insurance, which, very highly likely that you are, before you go have that fight with your insurance company, I would give Greg and Jill Bonner a call right now, 407-205-0400. Again, it's not an upfront fee. They get a small percentage sort of on the backside, where we're talking about paying them a little bit at the end, or getting zero up front where you're having to pay for this entire roof or whatever damage to your house. It's worth every single penny, I assure you, at the end of the day. 407-205-0400. Jill, I think we're going to say bye to you for a minute now. Great job. Thanks for being here. Greg, can you stick around for a minute? Because I got another exciting thing I want to talk about, sort of post-roof. When you get a new roof, what is something that you really should do with that roof? What can you do to get to the 21st century? What can you do to stop relying on these big energy companies that could care less about you, that keep raising their rates every single year? Well, I have fantastic news for you, and we'll address that after this very quick break as You Have Real Estate continues.
Just in case you haven't heard lately, mortgage rates are at historic lows. In my entire career, I have never seen them dip this low. Now may be your best time to own your dream home and stop throwing your hard-earned money away on rent, refinance to a lower rate to save money on your monthly mortgage payment, or pay off high-interest credit card and other debt. My name is Dallas Lehman, president of You Have Mortgage. No one knows when rates will begin to climb again, but they will and can go back up quickly. Call me today so we can tailor your historic rate and program. Our premier Under One Roof team is here to provide our very best for you.
Welcome back to You Have Real Estate. Thank you for spending your weekend here with us. And look, I understand the roof is the most expensive investment you can make really on your house. And when something goes wrong or you feel a leak, you don't want to have to stroke that big check. That's why we have Greg Bonner here with Virtual Public Adjusters telling us how we can fight back to that insurance company and make sure that they pay for the roof. But Greg, it's a great feeling when you get that new roof on your house. You know you're not going to have to deal with any leaks for a while.
30 years.
But what an 30 years. That's how long they last now.
That's one of the minimal roofs that you can put on
Is
for a
that
30-year
right?
warranty.
30 years. So it's a great feeling, but for the next 30 years, what better way to get into the 21st century and stop relying upon these big electricity companies? You know who they are. I don't have to say their names because you're used to paying them. You've been paying them your whole life. Whatever they tell you you owe for your electricity every month, that's just what you pay. You notice one thing about it, though, it goes up every single year. And that's why it is time to go solar. Just like I went solar. I used to pay $500 a month for my electricity bill every single month, at least in the summertime. Now, $50, $60 a month I pay. But also, this year when I filed my tax returns, I was going to have to stroke a check to the IRS for $10,000, which I did not have to pay solely because I went solar, and I did it with IQ Power Solar. Stephen Bader is their COO. Steve, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Good, thanks for having me.
What a good time, though, to go solar when you have that brand new roof, because I know that at the very end of a roofing cycle, maybe you want to get a roof before you go solar, but now you got a fresh roof, brand new roof that's going to be there for the next 30 years. I can't think of a better time to go solar. Then again, if you hired Greg, you probably had to pay nothing to get the new roof. You're like, well, I don't want to stroke this big check for solar. How does that work when I go solar? Do I pay you a big chunk of money up front or not?
No, all of our programs are no money up front, no money down programs. You don't pay until well after it's installed, but there's a lot of small details that are super helpful when you get a new roof and the roof company is working in cohesion with the solar company. For example, sometimes you'll see solar on a roof and there's like 4 panels and there's a space because there's a gooseneck or a lead pipe.
Yep.
But when you're working with a roofing company, you can move that up and you can have 2 perfect rows and you can make subtle adjustments. And when it comes to the adjusters, Greg made a really good point. And when Jill was talking about how there are upgrades, in the code and stuff like that are in different sections. They don't tell you that. I mean, I've seen clients where the roofer comes and redoes the roof and leaves the gutters in the back lawn and then wants an additional fee to put the gutters back because they're not a gutter company. It's the smallest things. Yeah. And we see where their insulation in their attic is soaked and wet and there's mold up there now, but the roofing company didn't go in the attic. So, who caught that? So there are a lot of little things that could end up costing you $5,000 or even $500, after your deductible. You don't need to be paying that stuff. So it's important to have a good adjuster. And there's just a lot of really cool details that happen when 2 contractors with experience are working together and trying to work for your success.
And I think we're also moving to a phase in Florida, in Hawaii, and many parts of California, even some parts of South Florida, they're requiring you when you get a new roof or when you refurbish your house to go solar. And that's going to happen here at some point. It has to happen here. I don't see any reason why you would not do it now. When you get this brand new roof, what a great time to go solar. And again, like Steve said, when I did it, it cost me $0 up front. You're like, well, Justin, yeah, probably a 20% interest rate or something. Absolutely untrue. The interest rate that I pay pay, Steve, I think is close to like the mortgage rates that we get now. It's a very, very low interest rate, and it really becomes a mathematical equation for you. Okay, what was I paying for electricity before? What am I going to pay now, and how much is it going to cost me to put solar on my house? I pay substantially less when you add it all up than I used to pay just for my electricity before. But also look at my house value now. So if I were to go sell my house, which it's a great time to sell, I'm not going to, but a lot of you are going to be selling your house soon. Someone that comes to buy it, they see your neighbor's house that's for sale. They see your house for sale. They see your neighbor's paying $500 a month for electricity. They see you're paying $50. Do you understand that's going to add to the value of your home? It has to. Your house is going to be one of the most sellable homes in the neighborhood, and it adds value to your house, all the while lowering your monthly bill, Steve. I mean, thanks for what you guys did for me. I'm very, very happy with it. But then the IRS part of it too. The IRS piece, I know you don't like to talk about it. It was huge for me this year. I was literally, Steve, when I did my tax return, I was about to sign this check, IRS, Department of Revenue, $10,000. And then I remembered at the last second that we had gone solar last year. I literally just had to add that receipt to the tax return, and I did not have to pay the IRS that money. How does that work?
The IRS, the ITC, the investment tax credit, it's a dollar for dollar credit. 26% of every dollar you spend in qualified solar. So if you spend $30,000 on solar, you're getting 26%, which is roughly $700-800. Another cool thing, when you get the solar and the roof at the same time, then we can get you a solar tax credit on up to 40% of the roof. So we can get you a couple $1,000s on that. And it's also really important to note that when you increase your property value based on solar, they cannot increase your property value taxes based on solar property value increase. So there's a lot of little protections that you need to just be smart and take advantage of.
If you're thinking about going solar now, but even if you have a roof that's a little bit older, what a great team here. What a great team to get a roof and solar all at the same time. All you need to do, there's one phone number to call. It's 407-205-0400. Literally, you could be sitting here watching the show right now, paying Duke Energy $500 a month, having leaks in your roof, and by next week, for $0 out of your pocket, you could have a new roof with solar on it and pay Duke Energy $20 a month. That's crazy. I mean, that's kind of life-changing stuff right there, Steve.
Yeah, and you're talking about interest rates. I'll tell you, right now we have rates from 1.9% to 3.9%, and the average person takes a 3% loan at 15 to 20 years, but those are going up a point in about after the first week of March. So, but they were 5.9 before COVID, and they went down. But I'll tell you, a lot more people are going solar than even before COVID. So COVID, man, people were going solar a lot, and they were doing it because they wanted to make sure they can get qualified. Maybe they're going to lose their job. They wanted to get rid of that power bill first, but there's high demand, way more than we expected, and the loans we're running through them, and they're going to raise the rate again about a point at the first week of March. So, but honestly, you can get solar right now with us. Some of our average everyday systems, I mean, the payment's $89 a month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane, man. You're getting rid of $150, $175, $89 a month.
It's crazy. I'm so glad I did it, and I promise you will not be disappointed if you go solar. Greg, that leads me to another question, though. So maybe I'm not seeing any leaks in my house. Maybe I don't really see any issues with my roof, but the house is getting up there in years, 25, 28 years old. At what point should you really start being concerned about the life cycle of your roof?
Right at that time frame.
So 25 years-ish?
A typical house on a roof lasts about 30 years.
Okay.
And I would say 20 years into that process, you need to start having it identified. Before you could even refinance your house, they're going to want 10 years of life on that roof before they'll even go down that road. So a lot of people get put up against that before they finance their house.
Yeah.
So we make it quite easy, though, because what we'll do is we'll go up onto your roof with a drone, and we do everything through a Zoom call. So we actually do bring the whole process virtually. You can sign contracts with us through this Zoom call and never even see us on your property. So everything's happened over the internet.
It's quite amazing. Any other benefits to working directly with solar and roof at the same time? I mean, it seems like there's just such a great relationship.
Well, just think about, what's crazy is I think the lack of general awareness and appreciation for this concept, right? 15 years ago, if I'm sitting there listening to my dad worried about a roof, he's thinking about saving $15,000 and, okay, right now, right, this is the first time I think in our existence where you can literally just call the right person and communicate And that's not going to be an issue. It's mind-blowing if you think about it. Because, I mean, from the time I was, 12, going through, high school, and people think about roofs, man, they save up. And now, literally, just have the right network and communicate. Answer the phone, answer some questions. It's kind of nuts, man.
We were talking earlier about hail and how we can go back and look and see if we had hail and how that would create damage to the roof. I think people see these beautiful solar panels. Like if you go to my house right now, you have really beautiful solar panels. My house looks very technologically advanced because of you guys. It does. I'm sorry. I'm proud of it.
I'm glad you like that.
But we live in Florida. We do have bad weather. I mean, do I need to worry about a bad storm rolling through, a hailstorm coming through and just totally ripping these panels off of my roof? Is this a problem? Am I going to have glass flying down my street?
No, and if you do, you're going to get a brand new system.
Good point.
But no, that's never happened to date.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you're completely insured. If there's a problem with the panels, they're already covered under your current Act of God policy. On your system, they can't increase your rates. You can't get a rate increase until you're over about an 11.5 kW DC, and that's not a solar rate increase. That's because you have to have $1 million policy. But 90% of our clients are not in that range. You're not in that range, so. No, you're covered, man. You're warranted on the system's production. You're insured to, a tree, golf balls, all that stuff, man.
The average, please.
No, I was just going to say you're definitely insured for all of this.
Yeah.
It's picking that part of the policy that's going to pay for it. That's where Jill's going to come in to just navigate through that policy and go, yeah, we're going to replace your solar under these conditions, and we're going to cover this part under the policy here for your roof. It's
I never consider myself Mr. Handyman by any means, but I also think the general consumer, the general dad at home or whatever, is not just like going up to their roof and hanging out and seeing what's going on. I mean, they're not Clark Griswold in the winter putting lights up on the roof and sliding down. That's just not us. So we generally don't know what is going on our roof. But I know when you call IQ Power Solar, you guys are obviously going to go onto the roof and see what's going on before you install this system. And you might even notice that there's something amiss, that there are some tiles that are missing, that the roof might need to be replaced. So I think just having you guys out to give me an estimate for solar, you're going to see if there's something wrong with my roof anyway. Isn't that right?
Yeah, and listen, to be clear, we're not there to try to tell you that something's wrong with your roof, but we're also not negligent. We're not going to notice that, hey, this roof has got 2 years of life. Let us put a system on it so in 2 years you can pay us to take it off. I mean, we're getting into a 30-year marriage with you, right? We know that our business model is not designed to make a bunch of money on the sale. It's designed to get 1.25 referrals from you every single year for 30 years, right? And it's very important, and able to achieve to be able to achieve that, onboarding, that customer, trust is it's what it is.
As I'm talking to you right now, you might have a bad roof, leaky roof. You might not even know
it's leaking right now.
you see that bucket in your kitchen. We can get rid of that bucket for you. You might have a bad roof. You might not even know that you have a bad roof. But listen, if your roof is 23, 25 years old, I see no reason why you would not give us a call right now and see what's really going on. So as I talk to you now, we have a leaky roof, no solar. A leaky roof, a $300 electricity bill. By this time next week, we could have a new roof with solar and a $20 electricity bill.
Guys, I know that sometimes we have 3 years left on our roof. Man, it doesn't matter, because if you're getting a 30-year roof, then in 20 years you can be like, yeah, at least I got that extra 3 years out of it. It doesn't matter. Don't put solar up there now and get a roof later. But
absolutely. Greg Bonner, Virtual Public Adjusters, thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate you. Stephen Bader, as always, thanks for what you guys did for me. Give them a call right now, 407-205-0400. I think they will really change your life and your family's life. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Most importantly, though, thank you for joining me, as always, every Saturday here. I love having you join us. I'm attorney Justin Clark, and I'll see you next week for You Have Real Estate.